Hello and welcome, everyone. Good afternoon to all of those joining us in the US. And I know we've got some people that will be joining around the world, including three of our amazing guests. So I wanted to come on live just a minute early because you're all going to start seeing that notification that we're live. So I wanted to give you all a minute to jump on. If you're in Pacific time like I am, maybe grab some lunch, settle in. So a quick overview of how this is going to run. I love doing things short and sweet with a good amount of energy. So it'll be about a 30-minute webinar and with those three amazing guests. And then this is live chat. So throw your questions in there throughout and we'll have about 15 minutes of Q&A at the end. So any questions you have that we didn't answer during the 30 minutes, happy to answer there. So I just want to check and make sure we are live across all of the platforms. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and I did hear from a number of you that you will be watching the replay afterwards. So if you're watching the replay, thank you. So I am Kate Holmes. I am the founder, and really I want to say co-founder of the brand new Innovating Advice community, because this would absolutely not be possible with the people that are joining us today and a number of others. So thank you to them. So where did the community come from? Somebody asked me that this morning, like, what's your why? Why did you create this community? And I must have been hungry because I started thinking about, like, if you have some delicious molten lava chocolate cake and you're like, I want to share this with everybody, or you go to an amazing concert or have a wonderful travel experience, you just get these really amazing things in life that you have to share and spread everywhere. And that's exactly where this came from. So 2020 had a ton of challenges for everyone. But I'm going to look back on 2020 and remember it as a year of incredible support and collaboration and a crazy amount of fun with people all over the world that to this day I've never met. And it just shows the power of connecting virtually. And with communities around the world, we've got XY Advisor that's based in Australia. We've got Next Gen Planners that's based in the UK. Just seeing what these communities do to drive forward the evolution of financial advice and financial planning is incredible, while having a ton of fun along the way. So really, I'm new to all of this, so I want to bring on two amazing people to chat about what their experience in building these communities has been. So help me welcome Rohan Sivajodi, co-founder of Next Gen Planners in the UK, and Emily Blanche, head of community at XY Advisor, joining us. It's already tomorrow morning from Sydney, Australia. Hey, Ro. Hey, Em.
Hey. Hello. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you really both know this wouldn't have been possible without you. So I have to give a public thank you for your support and for everything you guys have done to build this. For I have just been looking around for so long going, how did you do this? This is incredible. So, Ro, I want to start with you. So you and Adam Carolan, huge shout out to Adam. Thank you, because honestly, this all started with a conversation I had with him. He introduced me to you. You introduced me to Adam Owen that we'll see in a minute. And it's just a reminder that you never know where any one conversation is going to go. So your tagline, which I borrowed, along with all of the branding, for those of you that noticed, all new branding at Innovating Advice, that all came from Next Gen. So your tagline is, we do things differently. So what does that mean and where did that come from?
Oh, wow. Well, again, I will say congratulations, Kate. I know this is a huge moment for you and it's massively exciting. So delighted to be here and hello to everyone. We do things differently. Yeah, so that was born out of really being within a profession that we felt was stale. And we were looking around it and we were thinking there are many people here that look like us, talk like us, feel like us. The events we were going to weren't good enough. The CPD, I don't know what you guys call it in the States, it's CPD, is it the same thing, right?
CE, continuing education.
CE, right, there you go. That kind of stuff was really poor. And I remember being stood in a bacon queue at one of these morning seminars, and there was two men in front of me, I should say white middle-aged men, the standard that you see here in the UK, right? Having a discussion about how much they'd taken on setting up an investment these ridiculous fees, like bragging to each other. I knew I was in the wrong room, and we had to create some new rooms. So we brought a community of people together, and that we came up with the name Next Gen Planners. We wrote our values on the back of a napkin in a pub, actually. So we still have that napkin to this day, which is quite cool. So we bring it up at conference time. And yeah, it's just sort of grown out and boomed from there, and various things have happened, including a global conference last year, which you very, very kindly helped us a quota of North American guests. So thank you very much.
Yeah, that was awesome. And that's just an example of one of those sort of wild ideas that come from Adam Owen that we'll be hearing from shortly. But that was a 24-hour global conference that had a 30-minute show starting at 8:30 a.m. in every single time zone around the world, with guests from the financial planning profession all over the world, people joining from all over the world. Just incredible, so that we can all learn from each other, because that's what I've learned through having the joy and pleasure of working with financial planners and financial advisors in 35 countries over the last 7 years, is that there's a lot of differences, but really I'd say 80% of it is the same in terms of how do you service clients? How do you market? How do you determine your niche and your fee models? And even if the technology is different, how do you do those systems and processes? So I love that global collaboration and learning. So M, your tagline is driving the positive evolution of advice at XY. Tell us what that looks like.
Well, first of all, I just want to say massive congratulations to you, Kate. You say that this is all brand new, but I think you've been doing community for a long time. You just haven't had the space or the platform to amplify that. So massive, massive well done. The effort you've put in, or what I see you doing online, and the value that you share is just remarkable. And this profession, this industry is so lucky to have you. Yeah, so I had to get that out there. So driving the positive evolution of financial advice. There's a lot of similarities in what Rohan was saying, but it's really about the premise of bringing like-minded people together who can work together to drive far greater outcomes than they ever could on their own. If I think about the whole premise of an online community, it's exactly that. It's being able to innovate, adapt, change, evolve, look for better ways to do things. And it's not to say that what's been done up to this date is broken or is useless. It's building onto that and saying, how can we look at something differently? Because like anything, right, things go up and down, things move and change and evolve. And if we're not moving forward and adapting and evolving with it, then we will get left behind. So it's been an absolute crazy journey. And I've loved every minute of seeing the amazing discussions and collaboration that's come off the back of XY Advisor. And one thing COVID did last year was shrink the world, and it allowed us to connect with people across the globe. I've met some of the most amazing people who I've not yet met in real life, and yet it feels like we've been best buds for years. And like right. You guys are just one example of that, right? And look at what we've created collectively in just a short amount of time. So if we can expand that and allow more people to tap into that, then the future looks really bright.
Yeah, hugely bright. And you mentioned that like-minded people. And Ro, I know you guys named it Next Gen Planners, but you're really big on the fact that Next Gen is about your mindset and not your age.
Totally, yeah. And my rather crude version of this is, who am I to put you into a bucket of people based on the year that you popped out of your mother? It's just not a thing. It's nothing to do with age. It's not. It's to do with mindset. It's to do with, keeping on. Like we have this mantra as well, which is always learning. And I have this discussion with others, which is when you get to a stage where you want to stop learning, that's retirement. That's what retirement looks like. Really, go and do something else. And we just want to keep on developing, pushing the profession forward, keep on innovating, doing things that little bit differently, because it's something that needs a bit of a shake-up, right? It is a bit stale. It's financial services, right? We talk about pensions and stuff like this. It's not that exciting. So we have to do what we can. And look, it's so much fun. Both of you, some of the things you said is just perfect. We have way more in common than we do that separates us across the globe. And it's been so good collaborating with both you guys, absolutely amazing. But also that community, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, the amount of friends that we've made, the amount of people that are able to like share their passions, like get that support. I know it well from launching a financial advice business on my own, sat in my back bedroom with nobody around me. Like to have that support and sort of thing board is just entirely invaluable, keeps being invaluable, and it's the best work that I've certainly ever done. And I'm immensely proud. I am. And yeah. I'm so excited for you, Kate, because this is the beginning of your journey of this, and it will be incredible.
Yeah, well, and you should be proud, Ro, because it was so much of what you guys have built. I mean, a lot of people watching wouldn't have been a part of that through the last year. So I know we had a lot of people in America that did participate in the 24-hour global commute. But like one of my favorite memories is you guys did a morning show, throughout lockdown at 8:30 most mornings. But the Christmas special, you guys actually had a legit Santa Claus on there and Kermit the Frog delivering the news. And you were talking about how, financial services can kind of be boring and blah, but you also said, but you make it fun. That's the thing. There's so many creative people in this profession. And I know so many people that come from a background of, theater or the Olympics or, arts and crafts. And we just have so much passion and energy in this profession. And it's about bringing those people together. And in addition to, driving the positive evolution of advice, leveraging those other sides of our brain and those other sides of our personality to just show how much fun this profession can be and support each other along the way. So kind of building on that, what would you share as people are thinking, okay, do I join the IA community? What is the power of community? You've got a ton of great stories.
So something you just said there, we were talking about being like-minded. And the line that came to my head is like same, but different, because that is truly where magic happens. So you bring like-minded people together who approach things differently, have different experiences, and can look at something and give you an idea or a suggestion that you may not have even thought of before. So a story that came to mind as you were talking about next gen being a mindset and not your age is, I see this happen on XY all the time. We've got also I can weigh in on that as well. So people look at XY and think, oh, you have to be Gen X or Gen Y to be a part of it. And it's like, no. Similar sort of thing. It's very much the mindset, not your actual age. So you see older advisors in XY who they've got so many war stories. They've been in the trenches for decades. They are so technically minded. It's insane. But they perhaps haven't leveraged technology in the best way, or they've been, going through the motions, and they really want to innovate from a tech standpoint in their business, but they really don't know where to start. And then you've got the younger advisors who are just go-getters. They haven't got eons of experience in the technical space, but they are not afraid to try something new and try it fast and pivot and adapt. And they're totally on the front foot with all the new apps and tech and things happening. So when you bring two people like that together, the magic happens, and they share their stories, they share their experiences. The power of community is that there's no one single person saying this is how it needs to be done. It's everyone coming together with this collaborative mindset, knowing, hey, I know some things that you definitely don't, but you know some things that I don't. So instead of us trying to reinvent the wheel, or God forbid, trying to do it all on our own, let's put our heads together, because we will not only generate a result and an outcome, but we'll get there far quicker than we ever could on our own. And that, to me, is the power of community. And I see example after example after example on XY, and it just truly highlights the force and the value that sits behind something like this. So it's literally onwards and upwards. It's really exciting.
Well, and that's huge. And it's exactly that and that approach combined with Ro, when I had you on the Innovating Advice podcast, we were talking about how a lot of us can actually get in an echo chamber. And that was one of the light bulb moments. And in working with both of you over the last year, that I was like, wait a second. In the US, we have a ton of great communities and associations, and I've been a part of a lot of them. And the thing I realized, and it was in all honesty heading into the US election where we had a little bit of division in this country. And I was like, wait a second, we do have a lot of communities that are kind of building that echo chamber. And there's a ton of value in that. Like if you're somebody starting your own business, yes, huge value in being with other people starting that business. But as we think about the much broader driving the positive evolution of advice and doing things differently, it's that need to learn from all these different perspectives and have that open mind. And, I've been on certain sides of the profession, but I think maybe as I've gotten older and wiser, I've started to realize actually it is about the person and their heart and their mind. It's not about their business model or their fee structure. And we do just have so much to learn from each other. And again, if we can get to know each other on that more personal, authentic level, because we tend to wear our masks, at conferences and be professional. And especially being a young woman in this profession, you can fall into that. But so much of what you guys do in these communities is having that personal side come out. And it's doing that through challenges and Friday wins you guys do on Next Gen. I love it. And people are posting like, hey, we just had a baby, we had twins, and all of these celebrations. And it's just so nice to see that more human side of things. So, thinking about how the platform is going to be done, I'm using the same system you are both using, which is Mighty Networks. I want to chat a minute about the benefits of being, using your words, on a dedicated, distraction-free social network.
Yeah. So it's exactly that. Zero distractions. And it's also away from the public eye. So you said, Kate, you're at a conference, you're always putting your best foot forward. It is similar sort of thing on other social networks as well. But I think what a closed environment with your industry peers allows for a healthy dose of vulnerability, to be able to ask open and honest questions in a judgment-free zone, because chances are if you're asking that question, 10 other people probably have the same one. And so, Ro, you said when you started your business, you were there by yourself going, oh my God, what am I doing? Is this right? Am I doing the right things? Getting that validation that you aren't on your own, because I'm sure this is the case in the UK and Australia, but there's a lot of single advisor practices here in Australia, and a lot of them are in regional locations, and they don't have someone to have water cooler chat with. They don't have somebody to bounce ideas off. So XY has been dubbed, well, it's renowned as the Brains Trust. Like that's the overarching nickname it gets. But it's also, people have referred to it as their phone a friend or their virtual business partner when they need to get clarification on something or get an open, honest answer, an unfiltered answer to their question, which sometimes can be really hard to share. Here's a great example. So about 18 months ago, and a younger advisor. So just for some context, we went through and had a banking royal commission about 3 years ago, I think. Everyone may or may not have seen bits and pieces of that floating around. And it was really tough. It was really, really difficult. And this young advisor posted into the community and said, I'm going to put my hand up and say that the Royal Commission has really given my self-confidence a hit, because they had just been, the negative media was coming left, right, and center, bashing advisors. And he said, for the first time, I left a meeting with a client and genuinely questioned, was I actually providing any value? Because I just keep getting it from everywhere that advisors, we're being tarnished. And the amount of people that jumped on and said one of two things. They either said, hey, what you do is phenomenal, keep going. Or they said, you know what? I'm with you. I feel it too. My confidence has taken a hit. And like the communities really come together when there's a crisis, as kind of, counterintuitive as that may seem. But when crisis or tragedy happens, people band together and they become stronger for it. So where else can you get something like that than a dedicated, distraction-free environment of just your peers where you can be open and honest and vulnerable? It's really, really powerful stuff. And Ro, I'm sure you guys have some examples as well.
Yeah, Ro.
Yeah, you've just said it perfectly there. It is that safe space, isn't it? It's just that more than anything else. And like, how refreshing is that for somebody who's coming into a profession or like training or whatever, to be able to, I know like people say in their business, there is no such thing as a silly question, but there genuinely isn't in Next Gen. We always harp on about the tens of thousands, I think it's 100,000 messages that are posted in Next Gen or comments. You won't see a negative one. You won't see somebody shooting somebody down or arguing or whatever. It's all positive. It's just a space where people help out. And there's also this sort of great feeling, I think, amongst people with a next gen mindset, so like in X, Y, and like will be on IA, that actually we're not in huge competition with one another, really. Like there's an awful lot of clients out there, and the willingness to share ideas and stuff like that. I remember somebody posting in Next Gen, and this was probably in the quite early days, just saying, I'm struggling with my client agreement. Has anybody got any examples? And within about 20 minutes, this person had about 5 emails with examples of client agreements. Like that in itself is worth a year's membership, right? It is. It's just, it sorts that issue out. And it's sort of like, and it is one of those, the more you put in, the more you get out of it as well. So I know a number of our hosts who've done things like the morning commute, the amount of work that they put into the community, they get so much out in terms of friendship, in terms of value from people. And you know, as long as you're active within these communities, you just glean so much. But we also have those people as well, who are the voyeurs, the people who we know look at every post, we know they're there, we know they're logged in, they come in every day, but they never say a word. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Take it all on board. And it's just so nice to have, you know, a group of like-minded people and friends.
Yeah, it's huge. That's amazing. Thank you both for being on, for everything that you have done, for all of the inspiration that you have provided to everyone in your communities and continue to around the globe. Any final thoughts on why people should join the IA community?
Go on, Em, you go first.
I mean, like having been on the front foot of growing an online community and being a part of it and seeing it, it's just in terms of driving towards success, you will not find somewhere where you can do that more reliably and quicker. The value from a professional development standpoint, and you don't have to be like it. The goal, like you can have whatever goal. Maybe your goal is to learn and you know, increase professional development. Maybe it's purely to connect and have that social interaction and to have the water cooler chat when you don't have that in the office. Maybe it's to build your network and your profile and help others. Like whatever your driver of success is, I would be very, very surprised if there was not a way to generate value like that in a community and being a part of the IA community. I've just got countless examples, and the whole time we've been chatting, my brain has been going off with, oh yeah, that story, oh yeah, that story, oh yeah, that example, and there's just too many to share. But what I can say is that Ro hit the nail on the head. You will get out of it what you put into it, and if you want to evolve, if you want to get better at what you do, if you want to surround yourself with people who are just as motivated and excited as you to be a better advisor, to build a better business, and to deliver better results to your clients, it really is a no-brainer. So Kate, I want to say absolutely well done. Your passion and dedication for what you do, like seriously oozes across continents. Like I'm in Sydney, Australia, and I feel it on a day-to-day basis. So well done. I'm super excited to see what happens and what comes of it. The people that are already in there you've got such high energy already, and I can only imagine if you're in there helping everybody out, it's going to become the next gen XY in the States, but globally as well. And that's a really special thing.
Awesome. Thank you. Ro?
Totally. Yeah, I'll just echo what Emily said there. So I always say to you that it's apt that you're from Vegas, the city that never sleeps, because I don't think you ever sleep. Like the amount of all the sleep that you have must be incredible. The amount of energy that you bring to things, and like the hours that you were up for helping us with the global conference last year and everything else. You know, it's absolutely phenomenal. And I know you've got. I won't steal yours and Adam's from the part of this segment, but there's some really exciting things to announce as well in terms of conferencing and programs and all that kind of stuff that the platform's launching with. And having had a little hand in designing a tiny bit of that, a tiny weeny bit of that, a little bit of hand in those people into it and all the rest of it that we did last year, it's phenomenal. I mean, what opportunity 30 people across the States. That's all I'll say. I won't steal your thunder.
Yeah, no, huge opportunity. And I will say, honestly, it's an absolute testament to both XY and Next Gen, staying up. And I've done events that were like at midnight my time, doing virtual happy hours with XYers in Australia. And I've been on the morning commute between midnight and 2 a.m. my time. And it's because these are such amazing things to be part of. I am more than happy to do them at all hours just for the opportunity to be around that community, doing these fun things that are driving the profession forward. So thank you both so much for being here. So I want to bring on, so I'll say borrowed him. I'll ask his thoughts. So Adam Owen is the head of content at Next Gen Planners, and he and I just met for the first time virtually in June. And I feel like we've talked just about every day since. And even though we've never met in person, a huge, huge part of this community would not be possible without him. So I've kind of been leveraging him, we'll say, and he is the head of fun and wild ideas for the IA community. Welcome, Adam.
Hey, Kate. Hello, everybody.
Wonderful to have you here. So we've got a few important things to talk about and some big announcements to make to really highlight the benefit of becoming a founding member of the IA community. And a lot of people joining will have seen the Speaker and Influencer program and what an incredible opportunity that is. So like all of these wild ideas, Adam, that was your brainchild. So talk us through what that is, what that looks like.
It was, yeah. And, Kate, this is so much fun. And those guys didn't leave us too much time, did they? Because they've been bestowing the virtues of community for all that time. But that's exactly why we looked at the Speaker and Influencer program in the first place. We go back with the program itself. The sort of very early idea came from the Next Gen Planners 2019 conference. And we were running a very traditional conference at that point. And we'd flown speakers in from all over the place, the sort of conference speakers that you'd normally expect to see. And I stood at the back of the conference venue, really pleased with myself that we put on this amazing show. And then I noticed that our community were actually talking to each other across the room. They were looking at each other. They were finding their friends in the audience. And what I realized was that when you build something that is so amazing as a community of financial planners all working together and amplifying what they do, when they get together, whether it be virtually or whether it be in real life at a conference venue, they actually want to meet each other. They want to catch up with friends. And that's really where it came from. I thought, well, why don't we actually put these people on stage? Because we'll all have been to those conferences that we've seen in the past in financial services where we see the same 20 people in our countries running around the conference venues. I used to be one of those people, and I think that once you've been on stage a few times, it's time to get out of the way and give an opportunity to other people to bring their message, because there are so many amazing messages in financial planning. So last year, we started the program just based in the UK with 30 contributors who joined and were with us for just over 5 months, went through the Speaker and Influencer program, and then they spoke at our very first virtual conference, which was, of course, broadcast globally. And they had an amazing time, in all fairness. The whole goal with our Speaker and Influencer program is that we take something that is for some people really challenging, public speaking. And, we know if we've been successful, if they finish on the stage at the end of their conference speech and want to immediately do it again. And that is where we really are focused. That's our single measure of success. And all 30 people absolutely smashed it and all wanted to do it again, to the point at which we're now up to, I think, 17 who have actually been invited to speak at other conferences and have been picked out and are now part of the speaker circuit here in the UK. And, you and I worked together on the 24-hour global commute, and we went around the world. We had 160 financial planners on a breakfast show every hour for 24 hours. And that really got us thinking that, we can take this and we can make it a global event and bring these amazing communities that are already exist and that we're launching today in the US, bring them together to what will be in 2021 a global celebration of financial planning. So a global conference based in 4 nations, but effectively going around the world. And we're going to run that conference from the morning of day 1 right the way through to the evening of day 2, around about 36 hours of non-stop live streaming. And in each of those 36 hours, we'll be moving around and meeting over 100 financial planners, all of whom will have been in the Speaker and Influencer program. So there's an opportunity here for 30 financial planners from the US to be involved in that Speaker and Influencer program.
And 2 huge things that I want to note, but I first want to say, speaking of people that don't sleep, you are going to be awake for that entire 36 hours, like you were awake and producing the entire 24-hour global commute. So we need to find some opportunities to get you some sleep, Adam.
There's a word of warning there, though, Kate, of course, because Ro was talking about the fact that you don't sleep. A year ago when I started this, I had as much hair as he had.
But you don't still search for it and try to
I don't still
it out of the
search for it.
way.
No, that's true.
So the 2 things I really want to mention, first of all, and another huge thing about the amazing stuff that you guys are doing at Next Gen Planners, is this Speaker and Influencer program is free. Versus, I've been a speaker for a number of years, and I've looked at doing programs where I, can continue to improve my speaking and whatnot. And they're often, it can be $2,000 a month to do that. This is free. And so this is going to be free for all founding members of the IA community that sign up in the month of February.
Yeah, that's right. And that's exactly the model that we chose because, ultimately we have the option in terms of the way that the conference is structured, that we can pay the usual speakers that go around the circuit, we can bring them in, or we can spend the money on really high quality speaking coaches and put together a just over 5-month program that really supports our speakers. So it is an opportunity like no other. And it does result in, having the opportunity to speak at probably the biggest global conference in financial planning in many ways, in terms of just the scope and the number of countries and the number of participants that we have involved.
Yeah, and the second thing that I want to mention, but first acknowledging, that's huge. I mean, the fact that you're like, yeah, we could pay all these high-end speakers all this amount of money, or we could reinvest it back into looking at one of the challenges that we have in the profession, which is a real lack of diversity at these conferences and people not being able to break into that speaking circuit, and we can do something about it. And that to me speaks volumes. And that is such a perfect example of the power of these communities and doing things differently and, having fun while really improving the profession for the benefit of everyone.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And we're really keen on diversity and inclusion in the program. Ro mentioned before, I am one of those white middle-aged men that used to stand in those queues and at all of those conference events. Now I'm just a white middle-aged man in a hoodie. But actually, it's the job of people like me who've had those opportunities to do all of that public speaking, to step back, get out of the way, and give the stage to a greater variety of financial planners, because there's so many great ideas that just never get heard, because as a profession, we're peddling the same ideas and just regurgitating them time and time again. So the conference that we've designed is across 5 fresh themes, and it's going to be really a unique experience for those people who are actually coming through that Speaker and Influencer program.
Yeah, and so that's the other big part. So all founding members that join IAC in February can be part of the Speaker and Influencer program happening over the next 5 months. It actually kicks off February 25th, right?
It does, yeah. And so there's time to join the community. There's time to register for the program, and then we'll take it from there. There'll be a selection process. Of course, we can only take 30 people through the process, but anybody who actually registers and comes into the community, they'll be able to join the program itself and do all of the learning in terms of the speaker program, and then they'll be on the first priority list for the 2022 conference for speaking. So we'll get everybody through the process of getting on that stage at some point.
Yeah, and those 30 people that will be selected from the founding members, you already mentioned it, diversity is a huge part of it. So in addition to making sure that it's new faces, those 30 are absolutely going to be comprised of both gender and racial diversity from that founding member group. So we want to make sure, again, that we're really actually living what we talk about and doing something about it. So I also want to make sure, Adam, we just chatted this morning and made a big decision of something else that we are going to offer for free to the founding members in the community. And that is our 30-day video challenge.
Absolutely, Kate. Yep, the 30-day video challenge, the most fun that you can have in financial planning in 30 days. We piloted it, and very graciously, XY let us take over their platform for a short while in November, and had some great Aussies join the program there. We've run it in the UK in January, and we're bringing it to the US in March. So that'll start at the beginning of March. It's a 30-day program. Kate and I will look after you through the program, and it's really about helping everybody to just get more comfortable in front of the camera, understand some of those technical challenges that we have when we're putting together video, but more than anything, it's just about those presentation skills and that confidence. So even if you're not joining the community for the Speaker and Influencer program, there's an opportunity just to develop some of those skills, because so much of what we do now is through video.
So much of it is. Yeah. And it's just so much fun because we focus on short videos that actually just help you get to know each other. So again, bringing back that authenticity and getting to know people on that human level, which is how everyone should be working with their clients as well, just being authentic throughout that process. But both of those are just great examples of a ton more content to come throughout 2021.
There is, yeah, I've got a list here, Kate. There was so much, but we have a number of 30-day challenges. So we have a 30-day coaching challenge. We have a 30-day operations challenge. We have a 30-day financial literacy challenge, because it's not all about focusing inwardly in the profession. It's also about focusing outwardly. Some of these challenges we've run before. We've done the Write a Book in a Day challenge in the UK in December, where we brought 30 volunteers, came together for a day and wrote a 40,000-word book on financial planning, which will be published soon. We're going to bring that exercise to the US and have the US write a book in a day challenge. So there's so much that's going to be going on over the next 12 months.
Yeah, and I was part of that Write a Book in a Day challenge in the UK, and it was just so much fun. And like so much of this, it just gets live streamed, and so you get to see. And Adam, one of the things that I always say that you're really, really good at is driving out skills that people don't even always know that they have, or things that maybe people have thought about in their back of their mind. They're like, oh yeah, maybe I'll do that someday. You have a way of just like drawing that out of all of us. So, I thought about writing a book at some point, but I was like, I'm never actually going to do that. And I was like, oh, look, we can all come together and do this together. And everyone that participated in that, you've actually made it so it's going to be a proper published book with a proper published author credit.
Absolutely. People will pore over the idea of writing a book for months and years. And, we always think about the power of community, and this is exactly what you'll be creating in the US community. And it's this opportunity to, in a safe space, just explore what is possible. And I always have a saying: when somebody pitches an idea, or when we have an idea, it's always yes, but how can we make that bigger? Because with the power of community, you can amplify everything. And so, if you get enough people together to actually work on a single project, then you can write an entire book in a day. And there's so many other challenges that we've got in mind over the course of the next 12 months that we haven't even begun to articulate yet, let alone actually begin to promote and structure. But there's some amazing stuff coming down the pipeline.
There is. And speaking of sort of making things bigger and doing things differently, we've got something else coming up in March that I don't believe has been done in financial planning before. In the Late Show.
We have, yes, the Late Show. I'm very excited about the Late Show.
Do we announce that?
Oh, I think we should. Well, we have now, Kate. So I think we're announcing it. I think we're definitely announcing it. So yes, we've been putting on breakfast shows in the UK for quite a while. But the thing that I think that you and I have talked about more than anything is that one thing that we don't have in financial planning is a late night chat show. And I know that many people watching will sit and think, I didn't even know that we needed a late night chat show in financial planning. But in actual fact, I think that to give the opportunity to actually see people from the financial planning world in a completely different context. And you'll be interviewing some amazing guests over an 8-week run of the show. We're putting that out on a Thursday. Of course, it's a global show. So the irony is the late show for many people will actually be at breakfast or whatever time it may be around the world. But it gives the opportunity for us to really showcase not just the actual aspects of financial planning that change people's lives, but the personalities and the people in the profession that do amazing work. And we can really look to turn something and make it a public-facing show where people can just get to know the profession an awful lot more, because there's so much more that people don't know about our profession.
Yeah, and with guests all around the world, and I am so looking forward to hosting that show, which will be my afternoon. But yeah, we think that's a whole lot of fun to call it the Late Show. Watch it whenever, tune in, and just have amazing guests. Because again, it's like working all around the world. That's been the big thing to me, is all these similar conversations, and everyone looks to the US because admittedly financial advice and planning is much more developed here, has been around a lot longer, but just this is a perfect example, next gen XY, what the US can learn from people abroad as well. So stoked to be doing this global late show.
Yeah, it's all entirely, and it sort of brings us back to where we started in the webinar today. It's all entirely about community, and with the power of community, you can amplify what we're doing. And there we have the power to change lives and really impact on people globally.
Yeah, and people out there listening, I've been at a ton of conferences where we've started to have wild ideas. You sit around, you talk about it, but Adam, you're kind of like the Apple of financial planning, where you're like, I didn't know I needed a late show. Like, I didn't know I needed an iPod and an iPad and all this other stuff. And you're like, of course we did. So other people are going to have these great ideas as well. So come join the community and let's make your wild ideas come true and leverage some of those other skills that you have. And that was another fun thing on the morning show, is you have people that are into arts and crafts that actually show that as a segment. And just getting to know people, that's like my favorite thing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We know that there's untapped talents in financial planning, and financial planners aren't one-dimensional. People in our profession do other things, and so we've had people doing arts and crafts. We've had people who are into sport. We've had people who are into chess and coffee and all sorts of things that we just bring them on, and they can demonstrate a side that isn't just financial planning, and that makes our profession human and accessible, and it begins just to really just peel back the curtain on exactly what financial planning is all about. But we should probably talk a little bit about how people are now going to come and join your amazing community, because it's there, and we're heading off very shortly, I think, aren't we, to sit in a live chat for anybody who joins right now.
Yes, we are. So you've heard about all the amazing things that founding members get. So sign up as soon as possible, because again, especially if you want to speak at that global conference, which is a pretty amazing opportunity. And we're going to be inviting people that organize a lot of these other conference events, inviting them to say, hey, do you want to think outside the box and see some other amazing speakers? Adam, you mentioned 17 of the 30 from last year have already been booked at other conferences. So we want to make sure that we're not only getting you on this global stage, but ideally you're going to have that immediate, I want to do this again, and get you on other stages as well. So that will be, on the first come, first serve, but with that gender and racial diversity factored in. So sign up for that. If you want to do the 30-day challenge coming up in March, that's for any founding members that sign up by the end of February. So it's scrolling across the bottom, made it nice and easy. Just go to innovatingadvice.com/join IAC. It's a quick and easy 3-step process. I tried to make it as simple as possible. So it takes less than 5 minutes to go through the whole thing. And as Adam mentioned, just give us a few minutes to let some more people in there. We can show you around the platform, show you what a dedicated, distraction-free social network looks like. We can talk about topics and how, what you want to bring to the community, what you want to see in there, because this is driven by the members as well. It's what everybody brings together. So I want to quickly bring on Em and Rohan as well, just to see if anyone has any final thoughts, and to also just give all three of you, and Clayton Daniel, Managing Director of XY Advisor, and Adam Carolyn, Rohan's co-founder, the Grumpy Northerner, all of you a massive, massive thank you. Again, it's just the best silver lining to come out of the pandemic, that I got to meet all of you, get to know all of you, and that we've just got so much amazing stuff to do together going forward.
So true, Kate. So true. No, I'm really excited. Like everything you've done, Adam, everything you were talking about there, it's just the future really does look bright, and being able to create more opportunities for more phenomenal professionals in this industry and the up and comers to tap into that it's essential. It's you'd be doing a disservice if you didn't do this.
Yeah. And I
Totally.
want to do a shout out to the early founding members. We do already have a handful of people that have signed up that are already in the community. So to those amazing early adopters, those are the innovators, those are the forward thinkers. Thank you to those people that have already signed up and those that are doing it now. It's super awesome. Sorry, Ro, you were saying?
I'm just going to say, you totally undersold the Speaker and Influence program. Totally. Like
that was Adam.
So the people that are actually running that program, right? You've got Kate and Adam, who are two of the content producers out there. You've got an ex-Hollywood actor, the guy who played Virgil in the Thunderbirds movie, who's now a professional speaking coach to teach you how to do it. But you've also got the wonderful Nick Elston as well to help with the mental well-being side of things and how to overcome nerves and all the rest of it when talking publicly. It's all of that value free is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. It is an amazing program. So get onto it.
I totally agree. Adam will chat to you later about your sales skills. Adam, any final thoughts from you before we wrap up?
I think, Kate, just to congratulate you on getting to this point. I've seen at very first hand the enormous amount of work that you've put into getting to this point, and the three of us all know the immeasurable amount of work that now happens because, of course, everyone's going to want to start talking in the community. So it's a little bit like having a baby, launching a community in a profession, in as much that you think you're doing the hard work over the first 9 months and then the baby arrives. So you've got an amazing first 12 months of the community to go. We'll all be there supporting you and getting some sleep along the way as well. This is a great thing about us all being in different time zones. But if we head in there now, and then we can welcome those early adopters.
Yes, fantastic. And if anyone has questions, as always, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, shoot me a message. Right, if you go to innovatingadvice.com, you can schedule an intro call if you want to chat further before joining the community. But thank you all for taking some time out of your afternoons. I know you've all got 101 things going on. So thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you in the community.